A 911 call turns deadly when Sonya Massey is shot by Deputy Sean Grayson. Grayson gets 20 years. 20 years for murder. Sonya Massey. Courtroom drama.
Tonight, a landmark verdict has rocked the heart of America's long-running debate over police use of force and accountability. In downtown Peoria, Illinois, a former Sangamon County Sheriff's deputy has been sentenced to 20 years in prison for the fatal shooting of 36-year-old Sonya Massey, a black mother of two who was shot dead inside her own home after calling 911 for help. The Washington Post +1. The violence that unfolded in the early morning hours of July 6, 2024 began as a seemingly routine emergency call. Massey dialed 911, reporting a potential prowler outside her Springfield residence. Deputy Sean Grayson and Dawson Filey responded, but what should have ended with safety and comfort instead spiraled into a chaotic confrontation captured on body-worn camera footage that would later shock the nation. Wikipedia. According to the official video evidence and court testimony, after scanning the property and finding no intruder, the officers engaged Massey inside her home. An interaction over a pot of hot water boiling on her stove escalated in seconds. Grayson asked her to remove it for safety. What followed was a bizarre exchange that ended with Grayson drawing his service weapon, shouting threats and firing 3 shots, one striking Massey in the face. WHIO TV7 and WHIO Radio. The prosecutor and eyewitness accounts revealed a chilling sequence. Massey, confused and attempting compliance, apologized, raised her hands and crouched behind the kitchen counter. But Grayson advanced and opened fire, fatally wounding her. She was pronounced dead shortly after at a local hospital. WHIO TV7 and WHIO Radio. Grayson was fired from the sheriff's office and charged with multiple counts, including first-degree murder, aggravated battery, and official misconduct. During his trial in October 2025, the jury opted not to convict on the most serious charges, instead finding him guilty of second-degree murder, a lesser offense that nonetheless allowed for significant punishment. Axios. Today's hearing delivered the maximum sentence available under that conviction, 20 years behind bars. The sentence comes amid intense public pressure, widespread protests, and national outrage over yet another instance of deadly use of force by law enforcement. Critics argue that settling for second degree instead of first-degree murder lets a killer cop off too lightly. Axios. Civil rights attorney Ben Crump, who represented the Massey family, blasted the verdict as partial justice, pointing out that first-degree murder could have carried a lifetime. Massey's loved ones, while appreciative of movement toward accountability, remain devastated and vocal that the system still fails to protect black lives equally. Axios. The case triggered a wave of legal reforms in Illinois, from new transparency mandates for police hiring to improve de-escalation and mental health response training, as well as a $10 million settlement with Massey's estate. AP News. Prosecutors argued that Grayson didn't just misinterpret a harmless situation. He ignored his training, escalated without cause, and fired on an unarmed woman in her own home, a sobering reminder of just how quickly an emergency call can turn into a tragedy. WTTW News. Sonya Massey's death has since become a rallying cry against excessive force in America, a brutal example of how police interactions escalate with fatal consequences. From social movements to legislative halls, her name has reverberated as a stark symbol of the urgent call for justice. AP News. And while today's sentence brings accountability, many activists and family members say it's only the beginning of a broader fight for systemic change, and for the countless other victims whose stories go unheard.